Yep.
Good to go.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Maya Caldwell, and today I'm going to be talking to you about what IBS is, and who it affects, and what are its causes and symptoms, and etc. 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 Behind the cameras, I have my stepmom Jamie, my half sister Jojo, and my friend Kylie. So if you hear any mumbling from the little heathen that sits in the middle of us over phones, that's why. The reason why I'm able to tell you guys about what IBS is because in high school I had IBS. I still do, but it's just not to the high degree that I had it in high school. In high school, it was every day. I ate something, and 30 minutes later, I was in the bathroom not having a good time. I think you can imagine what was happening. IBS is a digestive illness. It's one of the most commonly misdiagnosed, and today I'm hoping to shed some light on who it affects and stuff like that. So first I'm going to be talking to you about what it is and its symptoms, and then I'm going to be talking to you about its effects, who it affects and its causes, like its triggers, and then thirdly I'm going to be talking about treatments. So first question, what is IBS and what are its symptoms? So as I've previously stated, IBS, according to the Mayo Clinic, which is a healthcare organization, it is a digestive illness that affects the large intestine. So if you don't know what that is, it's the colon. And most of its symptoms are gassiness, constipation, diarrhea, bloating, anything that has to do with your gut. So inflammation is one of those things. And there are many misdiagnoses for IBS, one of them mainly being is IBD. However, the main difference between IBD and IBD is genetic, or can be genetic, while IBS just affects your colon. IBD also, or irritable bowel disease, affects your intestines as a whole. So it causes inflammation and stuff like that, while, as I previously stated, IBS is just in your colon. Now that we've talked about that, we can talk about who it affects and what are its causes. So IBS affects in the United States, 20% of its population, so that's 1 in every 5 people. So you or a loved one might have had IBS in their life. One of the most common triggers of IBS is stress. So in my situation, my stress was school. I was taking a lot of AP classes, 7 my senior year, and I just couldn't handle that. My body couldn't handle that. I handled it fine mentally, I think. And another one of its major triggers are hormones. So the Mayo Clinic also states that women are twice as likely to have IBS because of the hormonal changes that your body takes. So for me, it might have been stress and my hormones, because during that time I was losing a lot of weight and I was working a lot. Now that we've talked about who it affects, we can talk about its treatments and what you can do as a person to help people with IBS. So there are many treatments for IBS. However, the two that are most effective are stress management and changes in your daily life. So if your main trigger is stress management, or just learning your triggers in general is a very good treatment, because then you can learn what to stay away from. So if it's a dietary thing, you can change your diet to suit your needs. And knowing your triggers is really important, but if the dietary changes or lifestyle changes don't work, you can always go to medicine or medication like Imodium or Pepto-Bismol or laxatives if that works too. For me, in most of my cases of diarrhea or constipation at school, I would always have a Imodium in my pocket or in my book bag, and they would be in like small little packs, and sometimes I would just keep the pills, like the whole bottle, in my backpack, because that's where I always was. I was always at school. So as we know, or as I've told you, IBS is a very common illness, and it affects 1 in every 5 people in the United States and more around the world. Its biggest trigger is stress, and the most common thing that you can do to help IBS is learn your triggers. Now that you know what IBS is, you can diagnose, or you can't, not, you don't diagnose, but you can learn the symptoms and you can rule other things out of the way. So if you're having a lot of stress and stuff like that, you know that it could be IBS, so you could talk to a medical professional about that. And if someone you know has IBS, it's always a good thing to be well prepared, and I think the speech helps you be well prepared, so you can always have like Imodium or anti-poopers with you, and that is it. Does anyone have questions in the audience? Kylie.
How often would you say that this goes unknown, like it's an underlying disease that a lot of people suffer from?
Well, the thing is that it's not a disease. Irritable bowel disease is a disease, and it's because it's commonly mistaken with IBS. IBS is like on and off. You can have it 1 minute, and then the next, if you know your triggers and stuff like that, it can not inhibit your daily life. So in this situation, a lot, because people often think of like, oh, it's just a bout of diarrhea, like I had something bad to eat.
All right.
Which I usually thought it was.
Yeah.
I always had like heavy mac and cheese. So I might have been dietary too. Anything else?
So are there certain foods that tend to trigger it more than others?
That depends on the person. Like JoJo. Fatty foods for some people, because your stomach, it's harder for you to digest that, so you can have mucus in your stools more likely if you eat fattier foods. So like fatty beef or steaks, well marbled, stuff like that.
So you said you changed your diet too. What did was there anything like drinking more water or anything like that helped you more?
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah, for me it was because I don't know.
Not eating out as much, or trying to not eat as many greasy foods.
And most people say that adding more fiber to your diet is like really good for you and stuff like that. But in my case, when I had like more popcorn, which is high in fiber, I was just out. I also think that's because those are colon cleaners, like iceberg lettuce or salads. Those don't really have any nutrition, so all they do is just
Nice.
Anything else?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, thank you for letting me do this.